Straight to the point, we're going to investigate this project to see if it is a scam. So you're going to see how I research projects before I make a buy. So this is not investment advice. This is basically for educational purpose. Let's dive right into this. So the first thing you want to do is to come over here where you see links. Okay, so you're going to click on that. So that's going to bring you here. So you're going to click on source code. That's the first place I want to start from. So that's going to bring you here. So you're going to scroll down to this place. Okay, so the first thing you want to look at is this place right here where it says contract source code verified. So you want to make sure this is verified. You can see it says it's an exact match. Okay, so once you see that, the next thing would be to click on this here. Okay, that means you want to read the contract source code, right? So right here there are a lot of functions, but there are a few things you want to pay attention to. Okay, there are things that when you see them here, there are red flags. It means you could be right in the middle of a rug pull if you already bought the project. Okay, so the first thing is a mint function. Make sure there is no mint function. Okay, so I've browsed through all of this and there is no mint function. Okay, so if there's a mint function, it means that more of the growth token could be added to the circulating supply, which is going to reduce the price of the project, leaving you with bags of worthless tokens. Okay, so that's a good one that it is not here. Okay, so the next thing would be to look for a max transaction amount. Right here we've got a max transaction amount. So what you want to make sure is that the number here is not small. If you've got a small number right here, it means that you could be capped. Okay, it means that you wouldn't be able to sell these tokens, okay, if you buy them. Okay, so make sure that the number here is not a small number. Okay, so the next thing is this thing here, the max buy amount, the max sell amount. These are very important. Sometimes you could see sell limit or buy limit. Okay, so what does that mean? When you see max buy transaction amount, okay, so what you want to pay attention to is the number right here. Okay, make sure the number is always a very large number. Okay, so that way you know that when you could buy large amount of this and you could also sell very large amount. Okay, you can see max sell amount, right? So this is a large number, which means that you can sell very large quantities of the project. You wouldn't be trapped after buying. Okay, so these are things you want to pay attention to. Okay, so the next thing you want to pay attention to is where it says owner, right? So, and that's it right here. Okay, so the owner's wallet is very important. Okay, so what you want to pay attention to is what you find here. What you would want to find here is a dead wallet. Okay, a dead wallet is a wallet that is basically zeros. Okay, so if you see zeros here, that means it's a dead wallet. So if you see a dead wallet here, it means ownership is renounced. Okay, and that's what you want to see. Okay, but if you don't see a dead wallet, it means that ownership is not renounced, and that means that the owner can modify some stuffs in the contract, and that's a red flag. Okay, so for this project, this right here is a red flag. If I want to give a recommendation, this is one recommendation. Okay, they should renounce ownership, okay, for more trust. Sometimes some projects do this for a purpose. Okay, so you might want to get in contact with the development team or the leaders of the project to have answers to this. Okay, so if you click on this, that's going to lead you to the owner's wallet, and definitely you would have information in terms of the amount of the growth token in the wallet. Okay, so basically all of the things here, all the functions here are very important, but some of them are very important, like the ones I already pointed out. Okay, so you can see the symbol is GVR. That's less important in terms of whether you're going to be rug pulled or not. Okay, so you can see there are all the things here, so pay attention to all of the information here. Okay, now let's move on to the next phase of this research. So back to this place, what I want to do is to come over to where it says holders. Okay, this place, you're going to click on that. So that's going to bring you to this place. So you want to pay attention to the amount that is in the dead wallet. Okay, so this number here is 39%. This tells me that this is the percentage of the growth token that is already out of circulation, is in a dead wallet. Okay, so this is not a risk factor. It is not a risk factor. I say that again. And other things here that are not risk factors are these ones here. This is not a risk factor. So when you see this symbol, this represents the quantity of the growth token that are deployed on smart contracts. Okay, so what you want to check is to see if you can see any percentage that is significantly high enough that is not in a dead wallet like this one, or that is not in a smart contract. Okay, if you see such a high percentage, then that's a risk. Okay, that means that if the person sells their growth tokens, the price is going to nosedive. Okay, so that's a very good thing to make sure you pay attention to. And I browsed through this, as at the time of filming we still do not have a large whale. A whale meaning a wallet with a large amount, okay, aside from smart contracts and dead wallets. Okay, so the next phase of this research is to come to a website called tokensniffer.com. tokensniffer, whichever one is the correct pronunciation. Right here, what you're going to do is to come over to this place and paste the contract address of the project you are researching. In this case, we're researching the growth token, so we'll paste it right here and search it. So it's going to display a lot of information here, so you want to study this information again. So a smell test score of 13 out of 100. Okay, now what you want to do is to pay attention to these stuffs here. Anyone that has a red sign is a red flag. Anyone that is ticked correctly is good. Okay, but sometimes some of these red flags could be resolved in the future. Okay, so sometimes they are not serious red flags. Okay, so we look at this one here, token is sellable, which means you are not going to be in a honey pot. Okay, so what that means is that you can sell, and this actually corroborates with what we found on Bscscan. Okay, so that's good. The next one is buy fee is less than 5%. That's really not good. Okay, the next one is sell fee is less than 5%. Really not good. The next one is contract analysis. We can see verified contract source. We saw that on Bscscan. Okay, so you can see corroborating information. Okay, so basically the strategy is to make sure you use a bunch of necessary websites and tools to research before you part with your money. Okay, so you use websites like Bscscan, Etherscan, depending on the blockchain involved, and then you use Poolcoin, you use tokensniffer, you use Dex tools. There are a whole lot of tools you could use. Okay, so the next one right here is source does not contain a fee modifier, which means that the source code contains a function which can modify the transaction fees. Okay, so these are things that the developers should really be worried about or work on to avoid losing trust. Okay, so these are red flags. Okay, so you can see here ownership is not renounced, and we saw that earlier on Bscscan. Okay, so what this means is that the contract's behavior could be changed. For example, the person could disable selling, he could change the fees, or he can even mint new tokens. Okay, these are serious issues. Sometimes there could be legitimate reasons for this, but that's if you trust the developers. Okay, one way to find out why ownership is not renounced is to join their Telegram group and ask that question right there. So the next thing is the holders analysis. You can see tokens burned at 9.28%, the same thing. Okay, we saw previously on Bscscan. Owner's wallet contains less than 5% of the circulating supply. That's a good one there. The creator wallet contains less than 5% of the circulating token supply. That's a good one right there. Another thing which is a bit of an issue is who other holders possess less than 5% of the circulating token supply. Okay, and then the next information here is liquidity analysis. There are a few red flags, like you can see as I pointed out earlier, good project could start out with a few red flags which they can actually work on later in future and then have them fixed, okay? But usually when the developers are out to scam you, they wouldn't work on these things even after recommendations, okay? So far we've seen a few good things and a few red flags, okay? I have seen a few serious red flags, like about 3 serious problems, okay? So to see a few professional recommendations on some of these red flags, let's move on to the next phase of this research. So the next phase of this research would be to come over here, okay? So and you would have to come to where it says audits. So that's going to bring us to this place, okay? So we've got the audit by Cetic, and right immediately we can see that there were 30 findings. So, and this right here is the key to understanding the findings, okay? So there were 0 critical, 3 major, right? There were 3 major, 5 medium, 13 minor problems, and 9 informational, right? And if you look closely, you can see they all say acknowledged, which means that the developers are aware of these issues, okay? So they acknowledged means that there's a possibility that they could work on these findings in the future, okay? So this is where trust comes into play. Do you trust the developers of the growth token to work on some of these things? So you might want to click on this to see the professional recommendation by Cetic, and that brings us here, okay? But right here you can see the recommendation by Cetic. This is the recommendation, okay? So these are a few things that Cetic recommends that the developers do to avoid problems. And I want to particularly bring our attention to where it says renouncing the ownership, okay? Like we said earlier, right? So Cetic is recommending that they renounce the ownership, okay, and never claim back the privileges or remove the risky functionality in the code of the smart contract. This is a very serious thing here. So right here is the website of the growth token, okay? I don't have any issue with the website. This is a quality website. It shows a bit of seriousness, but sometimes a good website doesn't mean the project is scam proof, okay? So the next thing is the roadmap. I looked at this already. They are following this roadmap at least. The next thing I looked at was the team behind the project, okay? So that's another thing you want to pay attention to. And what you want to look for when you come here, make sure these are not fake pictures, okay? Make sure these people are real human. So in the process of researching this project, I searched these guys. I actually listened to an entire over 20 minutes video of this guy talking about the growth token about 3 months ago, okay? So he really is the CFO of the project. It's not a fake picture. You can actually check him out on Twitter and LinkedIn, okay? This lady here is also a real human. She is the COO of the project, okay? Though there were a few things I read about her, like linking her to say timer or whatever, but I don't know if that's legit information, but that has nothing to do with this project, okay? So she's a real human, okay? And this person here is also a real human, okay? So click on the white paper. Right immediately you will see that the white paper is built for a global audience, okay? So I like the fact that you can read it in English, Arabic, French, Spanish, Russian, and Turkish, okay? So right here is the white paper in English, okay? I actually do not find any issues with the white paper. They have a lot of information about the project, okay? They talked about the team, they talked about their philosophy, they talked about the future of the green crypto, the Binance, but there are a lot of things. They talked about the tokenomics, okay? Cool stuffs here, okay? Again, a good white paper does not mean the project is scam proof, right? So you need to be careful before you invest in projects, okay? If you want to invest in this project, it's definitely gonna be your decision. You can make money doing this. You can actually run into some issues if it rug pulls, okay? So if you're interested in buying this, make sure you use the link in the description. I've got a video showing you how you can buy it on Trust Wallet very easily, okay? So this is Bscscan and it's your guy Ken signing out.